Welcome to the Ath-leadership podcast. In this podcast, we will be uncovering the parallels between being an athlete and being a leader. Often seen as two very different disciplines, but in reality have more in common than most believe. Every leader is an elite athlete, and every athlete is an elite leader. So what can we learn from each other? My name is Marjolein. I'm an ambitious marketing leader, but equally an ambitious CrossFit athlete. I started CrossFit in 2017 and started to discover parallels over time between me being a CrossFitter and me being a marketing leader. These days, I'm chasing these learnings and I'm trying to implement learnings from being a leader into being a CrossFitter and the other way around. Welcome to the second episode of Ath-leadership Lead Like Athlete podcast. Today, I want to talk about one of the workouts that I did this week and how it made me open my eyes to something that I also experienced at work and where we can draw the parallels really concretely on one specific workout and what we can learn from it. The workout that I want to talk about today is a very easy one to describe. However, for any one of you who's ever tried CrossFit, it's probably one of the workouts you will love to hate. Or you will just hate, lovely. The workout that I had in my program this week was very simple. 14 minutes of assault bike, max calories. An assault bike is basically a bike with handles. So you're not just using your legs to move forward, you're also moving your hands back and forth because it helps you to move faster. So 14 minutes of sitting on this bike, which is also referred to as a bike from hell, for the simple reason that it activates your entire body. And the moment you sit on it, it almost feels as if it's pushing back in terms of resistance. Now consider 14 minutes is not a long time. When you sit on the assault bike, it definitely is. And there is a caveat to it. After 14 minutes paddling through for max calories, you have a 5-minute break, you get to do it all over again. Exactly the same. With the aim of hitting a consistent number of calories as an outcome, and in an ideal scenario, at a consistent pacing throughout both the first part and second part. So yes, if the consistency wouldn't have been a challenge, you could have taken the tactics of going very fast for 10 seconds and taking a break, because it could eventually lead to the same amount of calories. But that's not the aim. The aim is to work consistently through for a total of 2 times 14 minutes. I've been building up to this. Started with 2 times 10 minutes. I died. The week after, 2 times 12 minutes. Keep the pace of the 2 times 10 minutes. Oh gosh, I double died. This week, the epiphany of it all, 2 times 14 minutes. I have been dreading this workout ever since I saw it appear in my workout schedule. To give you a bit of background, the assault bike by itself is a machine that very little people enjoy. As I said, you use your entire body and it seems to give you resistance back. So every time you put in more effort, it becomes harder. Or at least that's the impression that your body gets from it. Historically, or let's put it this way, for the past year, I have been dreading every single time there was a workout with a lot of assault bike. Yes, I can do the 12 calories in a workout, or the 500 meters, or the I don't know what. But put me 10 minutes on the same machine, 12 minutes, let alone 40 full minutes of this twice. Yeah, this comes close to my workout nightmare. So this is exactly what was on the plan. And I dreaded it. I slept bad I thought about it the evening before. How am I going to approach this? Will I survive this? How am I going to do this? I need to make sure I'm consistent. How can I keep the same pacing I've had over the past weeks? In all transparency, the past weeks, I had around 11 calories every single minute. So I had a super clear target. 11 calories, 22 calories, 33 calories by the third minute's gone, 44, 55, and so on. So game plan made, motivation, what? Motivation is not always there, but go time. Ready for it. Warming up done, feels good. Let's bring it on. And 14 minutes is basically the same 10 minutes I had 2 weeks ago, and then 4 minutes additionally. So I trick myself during these kind of workouts into these kind of mathematical suggestions. And it's exactly what I did during the workout as well. I started minute 1. Yep, this feels good. I'm sitting upright. I'm moving. I'm not over-exaggerating. I'm at the pace where I should be at, the pace I can hold. Minute 2 is also fine. We reach minute 4, and I look at the clock and I'm like, oh, now starts the 10 minutes I actually did 2 weeks ago. Yeah, my body is already tired. And it didn't get any better. By the time you reach 5-6 minutes, you cannot watch the screen anymore because in front of you, you just have a screen that tells you how far you've gone, how many calories you've burned, the time, the distance, all these kind of metrics. So you either watch that screen or you watch right in front of you. Where in most cases, there are other people working out at best, or you just see a wall. What happens to me at that point in time? My mind starts reminiscing. I think about everything. I think about work. I think about private stuff. I'm thinking about how much I hate the assault bike. Think about everything. At best, I think at everything with just a neutral point of view. I need to do ABC at work, at home. I still need to take care of this and that. But sometimes some more stressful thoughts come in mind. I really need to make sure I've done this and this and that. Oh, how would person A react to what I'm saying? And then it further increases my heart rate, even though already the assault bike is doing that. So my situation actually gets worse. So I'm going through this. We're at 8-9 minutes. Yes, we're over halfway. Finally, my legs cannot do it anymore. My arms are tired. My head is in the mindfuck. How do I proceed? So then comes in mind that I'm playing tricks every single time. And it starts working usually from the time I'm around 9 minutes. Okay, 1 more minute, I'm at the 10 minute. At the 10-minute mark, this is what I did 2 weeks ago. And these additional 4 minutes, these are the fun minutes. They're nowhere near fun minutes, but I need to tell myself something. So we go through minute 11, 3 more minutes, 3 more fun minutes. Minute 12, and everything just wants to give up. Breathing is becoming shallow. My legs are hurting. My arms are hurting even more. But the good thing is at that point in time, my brain is back fully in the game. It's gone away from all the thinking and it moves back to watch the timer on the assault bike. You only got 2 minutes left. You can do 2 minutes. 2 minutes is nothing. It's less than a song. Listening to songs right now. It's less than a song. So those last 2 minutes in principle, they're fine. And then the last 30 seconds, yes, now I can just go for it because I can almost stop. By the time we hit 14 minutes, I'm done. I'm done, but I'm relieved and I'm excited and happy. Happy of the effort I continuously put in. Despite me thinking of everything, including assault bike, including work, including private life, everything, I've managed to stay consistent and I'm proud of that. Because that's different my life. A year ago, I would have just in the midst of the thing stopped biking to take a big breath. This year's version of me is just pushing through. So now, 5 minutes break. You take a deep breath. Let me drink something. Let me drink my PCAs. Let me drink some water. Let me walk a bit. My initial reaction after this is usually let me lay down on the ground and let me lay there down for 10 minutes, 15 minutes for the rest of my life. I have learned that it's probably better to just walk around to give your muscles a bit more air. So I'm walking around 5 minutes. Yeah, that's nice. It's long. On the assault bike, it takes forever, 5 minutes. But then when I'm relaxing, those 5 minutes, we go by like no time. So before I know it, we're like, 1 minute. Oh, it comes again. And I need to do the exact same once more. What's the difference? I was fresh when I did it the first time. I'm by no means fresh anymore coming around the second time. So I jump on the assault bike. I'm like, yes, I have done this for the past 2 weeks. I know I can manage this. I'm strong. At the end, it's a mind game because your body will always, your mind will always give up before your body does, right? Easier said than done because you start. Once again, the first 2 minutes are fine versus the first 4 minutes, the first part. The middle part, the really dreadful part where it just takes forever, which is basically between minute 2 and minute 12, the second interval around. And it takes a lot of grit and a lot of tenacity to continue to push through. But I know I can do it. I've done it before, and I've really enjoyed the feeling of finalizing it afterwards and knowing that I've accomplished something, knowing that I've gotten better, knowing that I haven't given up. So I tried to really look this round more to the positive side. Yes, those negative things sometimes also pop back, but it seems somehow a little bit easier to bring these positive feelings across. Because also know, once these 14 minutes are finished, I'm done with the assault bike for today. So somehow I managed through and it gets really hard and my legs already after 6 minutes are like, no, please stop. It's been enough. But I've hit that 12-minute mark and I'm happy. I'm so happy. Those last 2 minutes of the second interval, this is really where I enjoy it. Because I've reached my goal, I've hit my target, I've been continuous, I pushed through, and I've put all of the thinking that came with it aside. Still, I'm very happy when we hit the 40 minutes, just to be very clear. 2 more minutes at this point in time I wouldn't consider feasible, which it probably is, but it doesn't feel like that in that moment. So 14 minutes hit and I lay down on the ground, accomplished, happy, exhausted. Saying I don't ever want to do this again. I don't like the assault bike. It's good. I've done an excellent job, but I'm somehow still left with a little bit of this negative feeling is maybe too harsh, but I don't really like this. Now fast forward a couple of hours later. I've had breakfast afterwards. I've had some food. My body has had the time to calm down. I look again into what I did, and I realize that I can actually be super proud of pushing through, knowing my history with the assault bike is not the greatest. At that point in time, I actually somehow notified the somehow. I'm looking forward to the next time because I know I've gotten better. I know I got this. And even if the next time means that there is a setback, I know I can overcome it because I have a track record of doing it and it worked. But this period of calming down is absolutely critical for me. If I would have every single day to do this workout, it would have had a totally different feeling. I would come up with negative feelings about the assault bike days before the actual workout. I would find every single excuse not to have to do this. I would be happy when the assault bikes are broken. I would be happy when someone else is using it so I could use something else. And thinking about this over the past days, it actually made me realize on the importance of taking this piece of rest and to enjoy as well the long-term feeling it gives. And it made me reflect on certain projects I have at work. Because whatever the project is you do, it does happen that you have similar projects happening one after the other, one in parallel of the other. And oftentimes, what we take from one project to the other is not only the feeling of accomplishment, I've reached it. Yes, we take this with us, but we downplay it. We downplay it to everything that went wrong in this project, whatever project it is. We focus, how can we learn from it, which is great. But we also focus very much on the negative feeling. What if it goes wrong? Again, like the last project was really hard. We take this with us into the next one. And oftentimes, these projects are hard, or these tasks are hard. And the first part is always easy. Because you have the end goal in mind, and it's still very fresh, and you're motivated. When you come towards the end, you're also motivated because there's light at the end of the tunnel. The project is coming to an end. You have a deliverable of whatever the task was that you were briefed. But that middle part is like minute 2 to minute 12 on an assault bike. It's hard. The end of the tunnel is too far away to focus upon, and the joy of the beginning has gone. And yet, when I'm at the assault bike, at some point I managed to focus on the positive feelings, whereas in projects I find it much easier to reflect back on maybe the more negative aspects, which I do as a person. Maybe you don't, and that's super great for you, but I'm still trying to learn to see how I take this with me. And one of the biggest differences I've noticed in why I'm able to do this on an assault bike and not always at work is because after the assault bike, I'm happy I take a rest. As I said, I lay flat down on the ground and I first need a minute to breathe. I need a minute or a couple of hours to really enjoy the feeling that it gives my body, the feeling of accomplishment. Whereas when I do a project at work or even a personal project, when it's done, I'm like, yeah, it's done. Next. Over and over again, I'm already with my head in something else before something else which you started has finished. And it's fine. It's the reality of life. You cannot sequentially plan everything. But what you can plan is how you mentally deal with it. How you actively try to celebrate whatever you've accomplished. And just to be clear, it doesn't require a big party. It doesn't require everyone coming together, but it does require you to acknowledge the effort that you've given and the result you've accomplished. It does take you to take a bit of time to mentally calm down, to take a rest. And no, it doesn't mean you need to take a day off or whatnot. It can be as simple as in the weekends saying, you know what, I really did such a great job on it. I'm going to do something that I enjoy. For myself. Maybe for you it means I'll bake something to celebrate myself. Or I go to the bakery to get myself something. I go and have a massage. But something that gives you that sense of ending one thing, celebrating it, but also for you to calm a bit down on it and to reflect. Yes, celebrate. Maybe you don't want to reflect at that point in time, but try to find an additional point in time where you reflect back on it. And yes, it's very easy to see everything that hasn't gone 100% to what you had planned for. But try at that point in time to take out what were actually the great things. What have you learned from it? What have been the relationships you've managed to build? How have you dealt with uncertainty? What can you take from that? And then honestly, be happy. You've reached that end goal. And it's one thing that you can close off. It's with those positive feelings that you can then further continue the other things that are running in parallel or the ones that you're about to start. I truly believe we should all take a little bit more of a reflection point, a celebration point whenever we finish something. And that will, from my belief, really help us to move forward and to take positive experiences, to approach the next something similar in an equally positive spirit. Now, concluding all of this, there are a lot of similarities sitting 14 minutes times 2 on an assault bike and working on a lot of things in parallel. Yes, it is easier at the beginning. And yes, definitely easier at the end. But it's especially the middle part where it will be about grit and resilience and us looking at the reality and trying to also look at the positive sides of it, taking learnings. But what we can maybe do a little bit more is to take a moment of rest afterwards. So, retrospection. Some taking forward what you've learned and try to appreciate the learnings, whether they have been positive or negative for you, into the next time you approach something. So yes, if you've never tried an assault bike, this is also my recommendation for you to give it a go. Go to your local gym and try to find a bike that has handles that can move and enjoy the 14 minutes on it. I'm still. And don't go complain with me. I warned you that it's not my favorite, but it has learned me a lot about grit and resilience. So if you have enjoyed today's episode, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, or even share this podcast with others who should hear this as well.